Explore your thoughts. Learn what you think you already know. We're taking you on a journey to the other side. Welcome, everyone, to another edition of The Other Side. Today, we have something special for you guys. We don't have anyone in studio interviewing. We just have myself, along with my handy-dandy producer, Emily Doza. We're going to discuss the amendments on the constitutional amendments for this coming Saturday, October the 14th. Now, there are other amendments that will be on the November ballot, but we'll discuss those amendments as it gets closer to the election. So for right now, we're just going to discuss amendments 1, 2, 3, and 4. And a lot of you have been keeping up with my videos. So before I was doing podcasts, I would still make videos kind of breaking down the constitutional amendments to the best of my understanding and relaying that message to you. And my philosophy is usually 9 out of 10, the constitutional amendment rule of thumb is kind of a no. However, if it's something that you don't know that you're voting on, this goes for anything, candidates or anything. If you don't know or are unsure, you can skip it. You don't have to vote on that. Vote for your neighbor or whoever it is that's running for office, but you don't have to vote for something that you don't know. So we're going to jump into these constitutional amendments. So every time, let me explain it real quick. An amendment to the Constitution is something added. The Louisiana Constitution was written in 1974. And now, just like the U.S. Constitution, they have amendments that followed. Well, now we're still amending our Constitution, adding things. And our Constitution is getting so overwhelmed to where we have amendments that are almost re-amending other amendments, and it's getting so confusing and so convoluted. And that's why most of the time, in my view, it's a no, unless it's something really, really important, which right here, we're going to break it down right here. So without further ado, my great producer, Emily, she's going to pull it up there. We'll start with the First Amendment. So the First Amendment that we have comes from House Bill 311. It prohibits donations to conducted elections. So that started from during COVID. You had Mark Zuckerberg and I think others that were dishing out tons of money to elections, different municipalities and states to try to help with the flow of election, with the lockdowns and whatever. So basically what this says would prohibit outside money coming in to influence the elections. So that's a yes for me. For the entire history of our country, we never needed outside money for anyone, any kind of influence to show us or tell us how to do our elections. That is between us, our Secretary of State, and we don't need any outside money. So that's a yes for me, and that is also a yes by our state representative, Daryl Dizitel. He voted yes for House Bill 311, as well as our state senator, Heather Cloud. So that's a yes for them too as well. So we'll move on to amendment number 2. Amendment number 2 is the protection for worship in churches. That comes from Senate Bill 63. That stemmed from during COVID, they were with these lockdowns, and John Bel Edwards, our governor, and not just him, across the nation, he had all these lockdowns. Well, it was selective on what business you could go to. So you could go to Walmart with hundreds and hundreds of people, but churches, you couldn't go, they weren't allowed to open. Well, they had a pastor in Baton Rouge who actually got arrested, and this is how all this started. Got arrested because he said, we're church, the sanctity of worship should be allowed. You have separation of church and state, of the freedom of religion, and that shouldn't be. If you can go to Walmart you can go to church, which is the basis of that. And that's what this bill is about, Senate Bill 63. So it passed the House 86-13 from that Senate bill, and it passed the Senate 25-0, and both our representative and our state senator voted yes on that bill as well. So we'll move on to amendment number 3, surplus in spending on retirement debt. Now, this is one of those things to where if you're not in the office, say a governor, representative, senator, it's really hard to say what's right and what's wrong. And that's why we elect these people to go to Baton Rouge and represent us. And hopefully they have our best interests in mind. So it says a vote for the required lawmakers to use 25% of any state surplus to pay retirement debt for the 4 state retirement systems. Currently, so a vote against is leave the current requirement that the lawmakers spend 10% of any state surplus to retirement. So we have a lot of state employees and things going into retirement. It is, from what I understand, it's kind of a big, I guess in the future, a lot of people retiring and the obligations that we have to pay for that retirement. So where does the money come from? Well, this is saying any surplus of monies that we acquire, at least 25% would go to that instead of the current 10%. And since it's, like I said, it's something you have to have intimate knowledge of in the office, and I'm not, so I always look back to see who voted, to see how big of a deal was this in the legislature. So pulled up the bill. It's House Bill 47. So in the House, it passed 103-0. And in the Senate, it passed 37-2. And again, both our state representative and our state senator voted yes for it. So that leads me to believe that that is important enough to vote yes. And by the way, amendment number 2, we talked about it. I don't know if I said yes or no, but that would be a yes as well. So yes, number 1, yes, number 2, yes, amendment number 3. So we move on to our fourth and final amendment. Property tax exemptions for nonprofit organizations. This comes from House Bill 166. So vote for, it allows local government officials to remove a property tax exemption from nonprofit organizations that lease housing and have repeated public health or safety violations. A vote against, and maintain the current system of property tax exemptions for nonprofit organizations, including those that have repeated public health and safety violations. Everyone wants property tax exemptions. I want property tax exemption, but we know a lot of good things come from the taxes that we don't want to pay. Everyone wants an exemption everywhere you look. What this is saying is if there's an organization that is qualified for property tax exemption, if they're in violation of public codes and health concerns, safety violations, that they would strip them from their exemptions. So that's a yes for me as well, because if you're going to be tax exempt, you need to follow the rules. I have to follow the rules. You have to follow the rules. They should follow the rules. And that comes from House Bill 166. That passed the Senate 38-0. And our Senator Heather Cloud voted for it, supported it. And in the House, it's 93-0. And our Representative Darrell Dizitel as well supported it. So there you have it, folks. Normally, constitutional amendments, I lean no to them. This is the first election cycle. I have 4 yeses across the board. Thank everyone for watching. I hope this helps you to make your final decision. We have a few more videos being released. I have some interviews going on this week. Stay tuned for that. Thank Emily, my producer, for riding shotgun with me. Em, you want to give a shout out? She's a little shy behind that. You can check out M's production. That's with an M, apostrophe S, production. It's her little side gig she does if you have weddings, events, and whatever to or funerals or whatever to compile pictures and videos together. She'll put it together for you for a low price in a nice, neat little compact video. So I want to thank everyone for watching. Get out October the 14th and vote. Only vote for what you feel comfortable for. Don't just guess. Get out and vote. And thank you, everyone. This is another edition of The Other Side. I wanna be